Ah, hello, weary traveller. Have you come to the inn to hear the folk tales that have spread across Aria recently? Ah, brilliant. I'd love to enlighten you. I've got a fair few stories and a fair few things to tell you. So, first of all, I'd like to point out that a lot of patrons recently have been coming here and they've been saying something about wishing whales. Not whales. Wishing wells? Yes, wishing wells. Apparently they're all over the place, hidden across Aria. Wishing wells are apparently impossible to find, though many have tried to find these things. And those that I have come into contact with that have found wishing wells have usually found it without even looking for it. They found it by accident, drawn to the well by some unknown force. So be careful out there. If you find like an urge to go somewhere, you might find one of these wells and you might be tempted to make a wish. But yes, be careful. And I've heard that once you've drunk the water within the well, a person can then choose to make a wish, and although it may not come true in the way that you would expect. So I would definitely watch out for that. If you get any sort of, urging, sort of pressing issues where you think you should go to an area where you didn't normally go, it might be the wishing well sort of urging you to go there and make a wish. But be careful in that regard. I've also heard of, is it the Askra or the Askra? I don't know how to pronounce these particular foliage, but apparently these trees very, very rare, and they're pale and delicate, got soft, thin branches that droop very low, and they sort of brush the ground against the earth, these leaves. So yeah, they droop very low and brush the ground, and almost like they're dragging their heels along the floor. But however, each of these trees apparently possesses a singular red fruit, so very, very easy to identify. And if you sort of dissect that fruit, it is filled with lots and lots of different seeds. And the people of Aria commonly believe that these fruits can be used to communicate with the dead and the deceased. So I don't know how a fruit can be used to communicate with the recently passed, but there's got to be some sort of history there. There's got to be some sort of method in the madness. But yes, I don't know what these fruits do, and I wouldn't eat one myself. I wouldn't put it in an apple pie. But yes. Also regarding foliage, trees, and what have you, there apparently. Legend has it, according to my patrons and travellers who come in here, that every oldest tree in every forest has a door hidden beneath its roots. So the oldest tree in the forest has a door hidden beneath its roots, and apparently it leads to another realm. Another realm! It's ridiculous. A tree with a door underneath its roots that leads to another realm. I know, it's madness, isn't it? That's why I don't venture beyond these four walls. And apparently those who enter through this door are often lost to the passage of time, emerging sometimes years later with no memory of what they saw on the other side. People just get lost, you see all these posters up on, towns, and people that have gone lost looking in the forest and what have you, and it looks like they could have just stumbled across one of these trees, one of the oldest trees in the forest that they got lost in, and just accidentally, without realising it, just gone to another realm and then been spewed out across Aria somewhere else with no recollection of who they are and why they got there. So if you see any strange folk walking around with no memories, they could have actually walked through one of these doors. But some other things around Aria. We've got the Tempest Plain. So this is it's basically a big, large flatland known as a Tempest Plain because it's plagued by perpetual thunderstorms. So constant lightning strikes, and the earth is permanently burned to a blackened crisp by those sheets of lightning constantly striking the ground. So it's a very, very dangerous place to go, and anyone that dares to set foot in that plain is immediately struck by a bolt of lightning, you see, because they become the lightning rod. There's nothing else in the Tempest Plain apart from the land. So if you are the tallest thing in that plain, you're going to be a beacon to be burnt. And we actually had a fellow come in with his friend the other day, and his friend was just a pile of dust as a result of this encounter with the Tempest plane. So I would not recommend if you were considering traversing that particular sort of geographical location. Another sort of lovely little tale, actually, is the legend of Fensalir. I think that's how you pronounce it. And according to legend, whoever drinks from this eternal spring, known as Fensalir, will be healed of any injury or illness. Now, that's a lovely little tale. I had a group of fellows from Mysteria come through to my doors the other day, and they were referencing this particular eternal spring. They wanted to heal their sort of townsfolk. They were travelling across Aria to try and find this Fensalir to heal their sort of tribe members. Or their clan, I think it was called. What's what they called it? They were suffering with a disease known as the Saikan, or some Shikan. So I cannot remember how they pronounced this particular disease, but they were all very sort of bleary-eyed and bleak about the whole thing. But they did have hope that the Fensalir did exist in Aria, and that's why they were sort of seeking it out to try and cure their sort of clan members, led by a sort of ninja-looking fellow with a little beard and little ponytail and nice blue robes. I can't remember what his name was, but yes, definitely worth seeking out the Fensalir. If you know someone who's sort of ill or injured, legend has it that it is capable of working wonders. And of course, lastly, the last tale we hear a lot of here is the Bleak Expanse. So this is just basically a frozen wasteland plagued by constant snowstorms, which remains all but impossible to navigate. I mean, there's only one path that leads through the Bleak Expanse. I don't know who that was carved out by, some absolute legend, but any deviation from that path will lead a person back to a point from which they started, apparently. So yes, you have to be very, very careful when you're sort of navigating the Bleak Expanse to make sure you don't deviate from the path, otherwise you just go round and round in circles until your toes turn blue. So yes, be very, very careful with regards to that. And of course, the blinding snow, obviously, it is very, very cold and devastatingly fatal for anyone who approaches the Expanse unprepared. So lots of tales, lots of legends going around at the moment with regards to Aria, and yes, just definitely be careful on your travels, and just don't get any sort of unnecessary urges to visit wishing wells, because nothing ever ends well with a wishing well. So thank you for stopping by and hearing about the legends of Aria, and good luck out there, travellers, and don't forget, take all of your equipment with you, and just make sure you've got a full deck.